So I just got finished watching the first two episodes of X-Men 97, which is a continuation off of the 90s cartoon, and I have to say flat out, I am shocked. I can't really even put into words how good these first two episodes are and how much hope has been put back into me for the Marvel Universe. Even though X-Men 97 is in a different universe than our sacred timeline, it got me so excited for the future of the X-Men in the MCU. We're gonna break down these episodes. I'm gonna give my thoughts on everything that happened, all the characters, all the things that may happen in the future. But before we do that, we've hit our goal. When I started YouTube, I thought no one would ever watch my videos. I did it for me. I did it just because I love talking about these things, Marvel, Star Wars, anything pop culture. That's what I like to do. I figured I waited long enough and I might as well record myself doing it, so I did, and here we are later at 1,000 subs. Thank you watching this video so much for 1,000 subs. This is just the beginning. If you're new to this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our community. We have discussions on everything that you love, so hit that button, hit like, and let's get into the amazing show that is the first two episodes of X-Men 97. Starting off, I want to talk about the opening crawl with the Marvel animation. We see the 60s Spider-Man cartoon as well as The Thing and just other Marvel animated shows. This goes immediately into the revamped X-Men animated series opening, and it was just fully nostalgia but with a new twist. This show is really shot in a 2D 3D hybrid, and it is perfect. I mean that. I think it's perfect. It's not too 3D like What If, and it's not completely flat like the original series. I love this so much. And I should mention this is a direct continuation of the original 90s cartoon, which I did watch a lot of the episodes for, but you don't necessarily have to watch the old cartoon to get into this one because they recap characters and previous storylines very well. Our introduction to the series is the Friends of America, or the FOA, recreating a Sentinel and hijacking and kidnapping this kid who is a mutant. Immediately, some of the X-Men come to the rescue, and the big standout here, of course, is Cyclops. Cyclops is the current leader of the X-Men, and out of all of the visual media that we've ever gotten in terms of the X-Men, this is the definitive Cyclops. There is so much depth explored with this character already in the first two episodes that we didn't ever get with the original movies or the rebooted movies or even the original cartoon. This sort of depth to Cyclops is something that has only ever been explored really in the comics. But now the show is just doing him justice, and it gets me so excited to see him in live action one day. I also love the current roster of the X-Men that they're using in this show, with Gambit, Rogue, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Morph. All of these characters you may be familiar with the original series, but they do a great job of introducing them to new audiences. And we also, of course, have Beast, Jubilee, all of these standout staple X-Men that we're used to. So currently, Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Jean Grey are having a baby. And now that Charles Xavier is gone, they want to start their own family outside of the X-Men. Most importantly, Jean does, but Scott kind of wants to stay behind and be the leader that the X-Men need now. He doesn't think he can live up to Charles Xavier, and the thing is, he can't, but he can try. And for most of this episode, we're really just trying to find the people who kidnapped this mutant guy, but the main plot of this episode isn't really the bread and butter. It's the character moments and the development we get with these characters after not seeing them for so long. And on top of that, the art style. It is just a complete fever dream, some of these scenes, watching the colors, the action, the way everything is shot. I honestly could not have asked for a better reintroduction to the X-Men, and this will 100% get people excited for the live action versions. One of my absolute favorite scenes in the first episode is when Cyclops jumps out of the X-Jet and doesn't need a parachute because he uses his laser beams from his eyes to stop himself from falling. And visually, using Cyclops' powers in this way is something we haven't seen before and is really refreshing, showing us how powerful he really is. You really get that natural born leader element to him that we've all been wanting. At the end of this episode, we get an actual cliffhanger. After stopping the Sentinels, there is a breach at the X-Mansion. The X-Men run into Charles Xavier's office only to find Magneto himself in there, saying that Charles Xavier, after his passing, left everything to Magneto. That is how you set up an awesome animated series. I immediately jumped into episode 2, so we're going to do that now, and I'm going to give all my thoughts at the end. It seems that Charles Xavier, in his passing, left everything to Eric, or Magneto. That way he can be a better person and be the leader that Charles always was. Charles and Magneto have this historic friend-enemy relationship where they're always on opposite ends but really care for each other. And since Charles is no longer with us, Magneto now knows what he has to do, and that is well, be a good guy, or try to be. He's always had that belief that mutants were superior to humans and that they should be protected, in fact should enslave the possible humans. He's always had this superiority complex where mutants are way better than humans instead of having them coexist, which was Charles' way. But Eric wants to try. He wants to try Charles's way and do things the way he laid them out. And it's awesome because we get depth with Magneto already. Magneto has done all of these terrible things in the past, but with Charles Xavier passing, he's going to try and be a different person. But when this happens, the army arrives and tells Magneto that he's under arrest, and he actually gives into it. This is huge because normally Magneto would just completely destroy them, blow up their helicopters and stuff, but no. He's changed. We actually get the trial of Magneto here, and this was so awesome to see. The FOA, or the bad humans, interrupt his trial and prove his point that the humans, in fact, are often more dangerous than the mutants. The mutants just want to coexist, and Magneto is trying to prove that to the United States. The main villain of this episode, the Executor, I think, is trying to get Magneto to break and, fight him and destroy him because he's, well, Magneto. And the big battle here is Magneto trying not to give in to his typical tendencies. Just then, Storm gets shot with this gun that erases her mutant powers. And this is almost the hair that breaks Magneto's back, causing him to go completely berserk. But again, he doesn't. He delivers one of the coldest lines I've ever heard in superhero media. After lifting the entire courtroom up into the atmosphere with his electromagnetic powers, he says, "I'm trying to be better. Don't make me let you down." And when he said that, I was like, that was awesome. At the same time, Jean and Cyclops are not present because, well, Jean is giving birth to their child. And when this child is birthed, we learn that this is Nathan Summers, also known as Cable. Cable is a character from the X-Men, but you most likely know him from the Deadpool 2 movie. Yes, he is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey, setting up just such an exciting future. We also see a bunch of other things happen. We see a relationship between Rogue and Magneto, which they had in the original cartoon, but that was a long time ago, and Gambit sees them talking again and isn't too happy about it because him and Rogue are kind of a thing. And also Storm, without her powers, ends up leaving the X-Men. Just such an electric start to the show, and it doesn't end there. At the very end of this episode, we see Jean Grey open the door saying that she needs help from the X-Men, but the thing is, Jean Grey is already inside. This is a different Jean Grey. And boom, the episode ends. We've got time travel elements already in place. We know these characters from the past, but if you're new to this series, I think you've had enough time with them to know who each person is and what they bring to the table. And this show is just so beautiful to look at. I mean, I'm going to rewatch these episodes immediately after recording this video because I enjoyed them so much. I feel like you have to watch this. If you think Marvel needed something refreshing, this is it 100%. I really cannot say enough good things about these first 2 episodes. There's probably so much that I missed, so if you could leave a comment down below of anything that you saw in this show, I will read your comment and I most likely will respond. Lastly, if you guys could hit subscribe and join our community, it would mean so much to me. Again, thank you so much for 1,000 subs. This is just the beginning, and I will see you all very soon.